Hey everyone, welcome back to the Stoner Car Care YouTube channel, where today we're talking about the number one thing that detailers are worried about when applying a ceramic coating, and that's high spots. If you're not familiar with high spots, essentially what that is when you're applying the ceramic coating, it was a spot that has more product on the surface than other areas around, and it'll usually show up. It's hard to see without the right amount of lighting, but if you can see here, Brett, on the camera, there's a spot right here where we've actually got some ceramic coating from doing the roof onto the glass, and it just kind of cured right there, and it almost looks like a fingerprint smudge, but it'll be kind of about the size of an applicator, however you did it. The only thing that's going to remove a fully cured high spot is going to be abrasion. So whether it's on your glass, your paint, or your plastic, there's a little bit different ways of handling it. If it's on glass, you're going to use something like a glass stripper. It has like a cerium oxide in these. It's going to be able to go through and polish out that glass without scratching it. If you're going to be in your paint, you're going to want to use some kind of paint polish that's going to be able to go through and mow that down to the clear coat. And if it's on plastic, you're going to end up having to use something like a polisher with like a brush attachment on it, because you're going to need to go through and create a lot of abrasion onto that plastic, but not having it get mowed down by like a pad, because you don't want to mess with the texture of the plastic. So let's jump in. We're going to show you how to remove it off the glass now. So starting off, we're just going to use a Rupes Mini here with some glass stripper. I'm using the rotary attachment on here because it's just going to get a little bit more heat into the surface, and it usually is going to take a little bit more abrasion to kind of get these off. So I'm going to put this onto here. Okay, I definitely didn't just sling that all over myself. So let's try that again. It's gonna happen again, I can tell you right now. Yeah, it's just, if you're using a coarse pad like this glass stripper, gonna be a little bit of sling going on, so. All right, so as I'm polishing here, I'm just kind of going back and forth over the high spot area. I'm kind of just trying to do even abrasion throughout the whole thing. When we're doing this, we're taking the coating off. No doubt about it, it's going down to bare glass. So we're going to have to reapply ceramic coating after this. But just kind of trying to do even strokes, even pressure. And I probably should have mentioned this before, but I'm using a really coarse pad on here. So it's a really aggressive one. If you're using on paint, it's probably the most aggressive, but since glass is much harder than paint, you can get away with that. This helps us cut down the time. And you can already see how that has obviously removed the ceramic coating that was on this windshield or window. All right, so as you can see, high spot's totally gone now, just a little bit of time. It's also, like we said, it's removed the ceramic coating, so you can see where it's wetting out right here, and where it's wetting out right here, and where it's still kind of beating up a little bit there. So we removed the ceramic coating from that area, so we're gonna go back, put a ceramic coating over that. But moving on, we're gonna go now show you what you would do to remove a high spot if the coating hasn't cured yet. So most commonly, the high spots that I see people make is right on the edges. So see how I'm like kind of going like this and stopping right there? Like some people will just go and they'll pick it up, and then it leaves like this textured look, rather than just kind of going and gliding over it and moving that pad. So if you were just go, I'm just gonna create a couple high spots here. Now those parts have more of the solution on them than the rest of the areas. So we're gonna let that cure up to the point where it's almost annoying to remove it. All right, the second way that a high spot's created pretty often is just missing a spot when wiping it, leveling it out. So I'm gonna wipe this down, and I'm just gonna leave that spot. So let's say I didn't have really good lighting, and I thought I covered the area and cleaned it off properly, but you just missed a spot. That is a surefire way of creating a high spot there. All right, so now we have a high spot that has not fully cured. Maybe it has like an hour into it, but not like a full 24 or anything like that. So there's two ways of attacking this. Your first order of business is gonna grab a towel and see if you can wipe it off. And if it wipes off, great, you're still fine. Now you're good, you don't have to do anything else. But if you go to wipe it off and it doesn't wipe off, you can then try reapplying some ceramic to your applicator, going back over that spot to kind of reactivate it. All it needs is a little bit more solvent inside there, and sometimes it's enough to break it up and balance out that area. So then you just do it like you would normally do your ceramic coating, wait the time for it to evaporate, wipe it off, and you're back to good as new. Obviously that was a little quick, but this is just a demonstration. So that's how you'd remove ceramic coatings that have not been perfectly leveled out on your vehicle, whether it be cured, uncured. Thanks for joining us in this one. We'll see you in the next one.